Hello viewers and welcome back, and I want to say a big thank you to everyone who decided to leave feedback, not just on Twitter but on the YouTube comments below on what we should be doing going forward with this save. Now a lot of people have been saying that yes, we should put the clock speed on slow because we don't want it just whirlwinding by and we left a period go in 10 seconds. Yeah, we don't want any of that. So clock speed on slow so everyone can digest the match. Also, reasoning behind I chose the Hawks. One comment on here is they're my hometown team, and why go into a game that I know very little to anything about with a team that I don't know? So that's why I decided to choose the Hawks. Also, if you checked out my Twitter over the weekend, you will have noticed that I put up a poll asking what amount of time span should I play between matches, between episodes I should say, and you had an option between 6 and 8, 8 and 10, and 10 to 12, since a normal NHL season lasts 82 matches. So the majority of you guys chose 6 to 8, so that's what we're going to try and stick with throughout this series. Every episode will be 6 to 8 matches played off camera, and then we get into our normal 2 on the day. Sounds good? Thank you very much, guys. Let's get on with it. What's up, peoples? It's Gendo here, and welcome back to Here Comes the Hawks. As always, if you are still enjoying the series, please do go and drop it a like. Now, today we got a couple of matches on back-to-back days in rapid succession. It's against the Winnipeg Jets and the Minnesota Wild. But before we get to that, gotta go through all the matches that we've played thus far and see how we've been doing. And since our last episode, which was against the pair of New York teams, we then went back home and took on the Islanders once again, and coming away with a very solid 4-1 victory. Now, believe me, high-scoring hockey games are pretty common in the NHL, so if you're seeing scorelines like this, they're pretty much bog standard. But 4-1 on the day, Panik, Panarin, Taves, and Kane all getting goals. I'm not going to go through every single assist in match. We're just going to be here all day if we do that. But basically after the first period, the game was all done, and we came away with a win there. Had a couple days layoff, and then took on the Philadelphia Flyers. Skill against a pretty weak goalkeeper, and this is what the final result was. Kane getting a double, Panarin with a double, and Richard Panik adding one at the end of the second period at this point in time, because the score is broken down up here, first, second, and third period, who scored what. So basically by the end of the first period, it was done again, and it was over pretty much by the end of the second. Following that, we took on the Washington Capitals, one of the best teams in the NHL at this point in time, and came away with our only loss so far, losing by the score of 4-2. Now, we had Hossa and Kruger on the score sheet, which was great, but Washington just won the board battle, won the face-off battle, took a lot of shots, several of them on net. And yeah, when you do that, when you put the puck on net, you're forcing the goalkeeper to make a save. But Crawford was not able to make the saves on this day. We were all tied up after the second period, and I thought we would have come away with a point going, pushing this into overtime. But Washington just took advantage of our tired lines, especially our third and fourth, and were able to come away with goals. And once again, like I said, coming away with our very first loss. Now, that pretty much put us in a funk, because our next 3 matches, we had to scrape by with shootout victories. Now, shootouts basically take place after the overtime period. The overtime period only lasts 5 minutes, and if no goals are scored, then it goes into a penalty shootout. It's best of 3, and if you're all tied up after 3, then it goes into sudden death. Fortunately, in all 3 of these matches against Columbus, Florida, and Tampa Bay, we didn't need to use up all 3. We actually won them by the score of 1-0. Now, it was 3-3 after regulation, but as you can clearly see down here, Patrick Kane getting our first goal, then Taves with a miss, but fortunately, Columbus really, really poor in penalty shootouts. They missed all 3. Now, against Florida, it was 1-1 at the end of the break, but once again, it's just the opponents not doing very well in the shootouts. And I feel like in the shootouts in hockey, they're very much different than they are in association football, aka soccer, where it feels like the skill in soccer in the penalty shootout has to rely on the goalkeeper, because you really don't need to do all that much as a shooter to get into the back of the net. You need to be really talented as a goalkeeper to stop that ball. It's the very opposite in hockey, where you really need to be talented as the shooter to get it past the heavily padded goalie, to try and find a hole past him and get it into the back of the net. So yeah, that's why you're going to see a lot of low scoring shootouts, and like these 1-0s that you're seeing right here. But ultimately, fortunate for us to come out on the good side in all three of these. And then you can see right here, another 3-all after regulation versus Tampa Bay. But then once again, going the distance, and it's Artemi Panarin getting the shootout winning goal to get us all 2 points in these matches. And then our final match before today's session, we got ourselves a 5-3 victory versus the Anaheim Ducks. Panarin, Rasmussen getting his first goal of the season. Hartman, Kruger, and Panarin adding to the tally as well. Several more shots on targets than what Anaheim did. And like I keep saying, keep the puck on net, force the goalkeeper to make saves, force them to make errors essentially. And if you get a lucky bounce, you get yourself a goal like we've seen here today. So where's that put us in the actual standings so far? We're going to take a look at the overall standings. We're not going to worry about conferences or divisions right now because we're nowhere near the playoff system. Don't need to worry about seedings, wild cards, and whatnot. Let's just take a look at how the overall table looks like. And as you can see right now, we're doing fairly well for ourselves, sitting third in the overall points standings after 9 matches. We got 14 points, which has come down to 7 wins, 2 losses, and no overtime losses. The way the NHL point system breaks down is you get 2 points for a win, 0 points for a loss, but you do get a point if you lose in overtime or a shootout. That's been the system for the last decade plus, so I'm not going to question it. And a lot of teams do, in fact, play for those points. If they're feeling like they're the weaker team and they're not going to hold on to a lead, they just try and bunker down to force the game into overtime or a shootout and get that crucial point. As you can see, the Penguins already have 2 overtime or shootout losses, so they get themselves a couple of points, basically in lieu of a win at that point in time. That's why they are above us. Well, actually, I don't know why they're above us, because we have more wins than them, but it doesn't matter at this stage in the game. It's still very early on, and I feel like this is a great place to be, both conference and overall-wise. I do want to try and push for the President's Trophy at the end of the season, but if not, then hey, I want to still at least be top 3 in the division, basically top 6 of the conference before going into the playoffs. Alright, so let's get into today's match versus the Winnipeg Jets, and we're not going to have Marian Hossa, unfortunately. He was out for the last week to 10 days with an neck strain, so we've been very much missing his assisting nature up on the front line, so we're going to have to deal without him. Basically what our lines look like, it's pretty much everybody on the right side has been moved up one, and Kane is actually going to be on the first and the fourth line, much like with Duncan Keith is. Hartman and Schmaltz moving up to the second and third. Everyone else along the left wing and the centers remain the same, and in fact, because Marian Hossa is out, I decided to move up an extra defender, so we're going to bring in Trevor Van Riemsdyk. Trevor Van Riemsdyk has been within the system of the Blackhawks for the last couple of years, finally getting himself starts in real life, so I want to bring him up and give him some starts here. So anyway, let's drop the puck, see how we do. We are going to be away from home playing at Winnipeg today. Fun fact about the Winnipeg Jets, this is actually the second incarnation of them. The original Winnipeg Jets later on became the Phoenix Coyotes, now the Arizona Coyotes back in 96-97. And this incarnation of the Winnipeg Jets was formed by the old Atlanta Thrashers, moving up back to Winnipeg in 2012, 2013, I want to say. But anyway, we got ourselves a face-off, and Brent Seabrook, off of the face-off from Patrick Kane, slams it into the back of the net, and it's 1-0 Hawks. Let's go. And the thing about the Atlanta Thrashers is that wasn't even their first hockey franchise either. They originally had the Atlanta Flames, which after a few seasons then moved up to Calgary to be renamed the Calgary Flames. And actually, that's another thing I meant to talk to you about. Do you want to have on key highlights only, which is just goals only, or do you want me to put this on extended, which means that you'll get to see more highlights? They won't necessarily guarantee goals, but you'll at least be seeing more highlights in each episode. So please let me know about that. I'm going to swap back and forth between those as well, much like what I did last time with slow and medium clock speed, just so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But as I said before, just for reference, key highlights is strictly goals only. So if that's what you want to see, then let me know. So anyway, let's take a look at the shot chart after the first period. 8 shots aside, that's relatively low for a period by NHL standards. But we were able to get that low slap shot goal from Brent Seabrook out on the right wing. And I don't know, really, to be quite honest with you, if there's any differentiation that I want to use in terms of where my shot placement needs to be. Let's take a look at this guy, Ondrej Pavelec. He's 6'3", and usually tall goalies have very wide 5 holes, so they can't really drop down to cover that the hole in between the legs very quickly. So maybe, just thinking right now, I'm going to swap the tactics and tell the guys to start shooting for that 5 hole, to be quite honest with you. Or actually just shoot low in general, because tall goalies really do have a hard time bending down and getting low pucks. So let's try shooting at the ground and see if we can't force him to make some mistakes. So let's get back into it. Now, I got this second period on extended, so like I said, not necessarily guaranteed a goal, but we do get one right here. Winnipeg Jets do tie it up just a minute 30 into the second period. Some lovely puck moving around the boards. Duncan Keith just trying to look to bring it out. Little gets called for slashing. That is a 2-minute minor, and it's a face-off in the attacking zone. What can the Hawks do with it? Hopefully, we can get ourselves a goal right away, but unfortunately, the highlight ends right there. Oh, wait, I may have spoke too soon. Puck over the top. But the goalkeeper there easily picking up that shot, and it's another face-off in the offensive zone. Come on, boys. We're still on the power play. We're still on the offensive. So many good plays going on right now in the offensive zone, but we just cannot capitalize. Horrible pass, though, not going to lie. Brent Seabrook has been called for hooking, another 2-minute minor, and we now need to kill off this penalty. We're a man down. If you're starting to notice, all the highlights then when you put it on extended are coming thick and fast. It seems like there's a highlight every minute. So that's why I'm saying, do you want me to just put it on goals only, or do you want to see all these little extra highlights going on as well? Winnipeg has just been taking shot after shot in front of our nets, and to be quite honest with you, it's just not been solid for us. We need to do well to get the puck out of the zone, and it's just been going all over the place. Brent Seabrook now putting the puck in the offensive zone, and unsportsmanlike conduct. Oh, it's a minor unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, but we do still have a power play. Actually, the Jets have 2 guys in the zone, or I don't even know what's going on over here. They got 2 guys in the zone, but it's still a 5-on-4 power play. We really need to score some goals here. Come on, boys. I don't have you training on power plays for nothing. You gotta capitalize on these advantages. It's nice that we're having it in the attacking zone, but if we're failing to score goals, then I don't see what the reason is. Puck coming inside, and Crawford coming all the way off his mark to pick it up, but it doesn't matter. Defense allowing number 85 to go through, and the Jets have taken the lead halfway through this second period. So I'm taking a look at the shot chart, and I'm questioning myself, are we really shooting low to try and fluster this goalkeeper? And we're really not. We're still aiming high. So I'm going to have to yell at these guys once again to be a little bit more, mindful of my tactics. We're going to go directly at the 5 hole at this point in time. So looking at the shot chart in that second period, we had 10 shots. Winnipeg, so much more, and that's why they were able to at least get that one more goal. We need to start breaking down this goalkeeper, breaking down this defense. And unfortunately, I may have to just start going all-out attack at this point in time. Like, we'll give it a little bit of time, but I'll still think about going all-out attack. The puck was deep in the Winnipeg zone, and now they're bringing it up, and that was a really soft goal, and very unfortunate soft goal. Stafford getting it through for Winnipeg, and it's now 3-1. All right, so it's time to start switching up these tactics, and we're going to take off shot targeting. I don't know if I want to go super offensive at this point in time, because it might just throw us all out of position. Puck pressure, we'll throw that on high. I'll throw the hitting on high. I don't want to put up shooting and turn down the passing. That might just be a little too wearisome right there. But I'll throw the tempo up to very high. We'll go with this. It's pretty much as close to all-out attacking as I possibly can. And maybe we can get something with it. Patrick Kane coming through, number 12. Who is that? Rasmussen with his second goal of the season. And with 9:14 left in the game, we get ourselves a goal back. Now, as I said before, usually around the 2-3 minute mark, I will pull the goalie if we are a goal down, and it's looking like that's what we're going to be doing. A minute 30, we got our goalie pulled, but unfortunately, defense... Well, when you have 4 attackers and 2 defenders, none of them going to be in front of the nets, well, that's wherein lies the problem as we give away a breakaway goal. Jets up 4-2, and pretty much that's going to be the end of the game. We feel like that's going to be the end of the scoring right there. But there it is. Time up. Winnipeg 4, Chicago 2. It's not the best look, to be quite honest with you. It was just, we stuck with them close and probably could have made more of a game out of it, but overall, at the end of the day, they just took more shots. They had 33 to our 22, and a lot of them, actually, that is shots on goal. They had 33 shots on goal to our 22, and yeah, like I said before, you forced the goalkeeper to make a mistake. And that's exactly what they did, and we just couldn't come back from it. So that means that I'm going to start switching things up. I'm going to take out Villapoca as my fourth defender, and I'm going to bring on Jordan Tutu. Jordan Tutu as a fourth winger, so Kane's not going to be on the fourth line anymore. Jordan Tutu, aptly wearing the number 22, going to be out there on that fourth right wing. So sacrificing defense for attack, but at this point in time, it is kind of needed to try and get ourselves back on the right track. Yes, it's only our, third loss of the season after 10 matches, 7-3-0, not bad, but yeah, let's try and switch the lines up, and I feel like we got ourselves a decent line. I can't wait till Marian Hossa comes back. I'm not going to lie to you. I can't wait till Marian Hossa comes back, and then we can have our proper lines set up, and we can start rolling these teams once again. But anyway, let's drop the puck. Nothing changing from last time. Let's give it a ride. Much like with Winnipeg, Minnesota is not the original team up in Minnesota either. There was an original team called the Minnesota North Stars, which then moved south down to Dallas and rebranded themselves as the Dallas Stars. Minnesota Wild came about, I want to say, in the early 2000s. But yeah, they are not the original team up there in Minnesota. And once again, we are away from home. Not just information right there. Panarin to Kane. And just like in the last match against Winnipeg, we come away with our opening goal here in the first period. Let's actually try and get a win after scoring first now. Puck dumped once again inside the Minnesota zone. Coming up front, Seabrook to number 42, Anisimov. And just like that, 2 minutes later, we double the lead, boys. Let's go. I don't know if this was directly related from me swapping out a defender for an attacker, but hey, it's working, and I'll take credit for it. Who's the goalkeeper in net right now? Kumpner? It's not Dubnik. That's good for us. It's Kumpner. He's 6'5", which, in all honesty, you should not be shooting high on a goalkeeper that tall. So we've been very lucky to get the goals past them like that. You know what I'm going to do then? I'm actually going to tell my guys to shoot low. Because a 6'5" goalie, yes, he's tall and he's wide at the top of the nets, but down low, he's going to be very ineffective. So that's why I'm going to force my guys to shoot low now. As I said before, if you shoot low on a tall goalkeeper, it forces them to bend down, forces them to cover up the 5 hole, which is a lot larger than on a smaller goalkeeper. But some goalkeepers can actually use that to their advantage. They feign that they're not going to come down as fast, or they make the 5 hole a lot wider than it normally should, and then they just come right down in a butterfly save. So for some goalies, yeah, it's not all that advantageous to shoot low. But as it stands right now, we actually have our first highlight of this period, 4 minutes left. Number 42, it was actually 24, Ryan Hartman. A little dyslexia there. But Ryan Hartman getting on the score sheet, and it's 3-0 to the Hawks. And that, I was going to say, that should be all done and dusted, but we have seen teams give up 3-goal leads in NHL before, and I'm not going to say anything further than that because we could very well see one right here, and we do. The Minnesota Wild on the board with 1.5 minutes left in the second period. And the reason why I'm not going to say that the game is all done and dusted with a 3-goal lead is because I personally have seen the Blackhawks give up and come back from 3-goal leads over the last several years. So yeah, don't think that this lead is safe at any point in time. Now, the Wild are on a power play with about 10 seconds left to go. Are they going to score a power play goal? Looks like it, and they do. With 6 seconds left on the power play, the Wild are now 1 goal back. It's 3-2. Oh my God, it's another power play for the Wild, and guess what it's going to be? It's going to be another power play goal for the Wild. We gave up a 3-goal lead. What did I say, boys? What did I say? 3-goal leads are not safe in hockey. Oh man, what a pass. What an outlet pass, but a good interception from Van Riemsdyk. The puck once again dumped around the back, trying to force the Wild into making a mistake, but they get it out front. Number 3, taking it. But Crawford there with a save. This is some end-to-end stuff right here. It's a good block and another good save from Crawford. With 5 seconds left to go, and the puck just playing around the neutral zone, and there it is. We are all tied at 3 going into overtime. Now, as far as how my mentality is concerned, I did drop off a bit, to be quite honest with you. I dropped the aggressiveness, I dropped the tempo, just because I didn't want my team to give up a 4th goal. But it looks like it's 3-on-3 hockey, and that is a new rule for this last couple years. They've gone to 3-on-3 instead of the traditional 4-on-4 because 1, they want overtimes to end faster, and 2, they want more fast pace. I guess that really ties into the same thing. They want fast-paced overtimes, and they just want the overtimes to end faster. Oh, it's a breakaway, and it's a good save from Crawford right there. Jesus. I just can't get enough of this. And most of the time, teams will play, what's the word I'm looking for? They'll play offensive overtime hockey where they have 2 forwards and only 1 defender, which can be very advantageous. You know, you're going to have 2 forwards going forward against 1 defender and the goalie instead of 2 defenders and a goalie, but I don't know how safe that is, but it seems like a lot of teams do it, so why not follow the trend? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and there it is. So we're at least going to get a point out of it even if we lose, but this is what the shootout screen looks like. And to be quite honest with you, I wasn't trying to get to this screen, wanted to come away with a win. But this is what the shootout screen looks like. Not all that refined like what the Football Manager shootout screen is. And in fact, you can't swap the shootouts slots around by clicking on the names. You actually got to click on the slots themselves. And actually, the only one I'm going to switch is Taze and Panarin. I want Kane and Taze going first, Panarin going third, and after that, it really doesn't matter because at that point, it's sudden death. So let's go kick. I was about to say kick off, but let's go take a look at the shootout. Minnesota coming up first. Zach Parise coming through, and it's saved by Crawford. Patrick Kane coming up and get around the goalkeeper. He does! Patrick Kane back in the net. It's 1-0 to the Blackhawks in the shootout. Granlund coming through now, and it's another save from Crawford. Now we just need Jonathan Taze to slot it past the keeper, and we got ourselves a shootout win, but the keeper comes up with a save. Coyle to keep the Wild alive. Crawford coming out. It's a save by Crawford. And we come away with a win. It's another shootout win. That's 4 shootout wins out of 4. I don't want to make this a trend, to be honest with you. Shootout wins are nice, but giving up 3-goal leads to get shootouts is not fun whatsoever. Right, so let's take a look at the schedule going forward, and we only got one more match in the month of October. It's against the Los Angeles Kings. But skipping ahead about 5-6 matches, and I'm circling this on my calendar. It's a matchup versus the St. Louis Blues. Now, the Blues and the Blackhawks have had a very historic rivalry, not as long as Detroit, but the Blues and Blackhawks matches have always been known to be hard-hitting, fast-paced, and high-scoring. I wonder if the game will actually capture that whenever we take on the Blues. So that's going to be an interesting matchup. Following that will be against the Calgary Flames. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of this episode. I do hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please go and drop it a like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And also, if you want to leave a comment below, but feel free to. I appreciate every single comment that you put down below. One main thing about the comments too, if you want to let me know about if you want to see key highlights or extended, that's the main thing. Do you want to see goals only, or do you want to see other highlights on top of that? So please let me know in the comments below. But anyway, guys, this is Gendo, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, and peace out.